traveling different rural areas in Nepal. And when I when I came back to home, I came back to my house, I started asking myself different questions. I started asking different existential questions about the meaning of life and what is the purpose of human being, and and it it gave me this desire and this motivation to help people outside the country. I wanted to travel and give a message around the world. So I decided to ride my bicycle around the world, and I started from Nepal and I traveled 17 countries for 2 years. And I was riding my bike for environmental protection. I was advocating for global warming and climate change, and I was also advocating for AIDS, HIV/AIDS awareness. So all these places I went, all these countries I talked about. I organized numerous workshops and seminars to teach people, to educate people about climate change and AIDS awareness. And my brother was with me the whole time. So my brother, my younger brother, and I, we did this trip together. And from this travel, I learned about myself, and it expanded my awareness to have more love, empathy, patience, and compassion for everyone. It taught me to be more independent and humble. I began to feel like a global citizen, and I learned to communicate with people from a diverse range of background. And I'm writing a book about my journey, and the book will have 17 chapters for 17 countries and the 17 lessons I've learned in life. And today I would like to share some of those stories and those stories from my book. We we talk a lot about love. Love is we discuss love is a very common topic that we always discuss more than hatred. So love is more. I think love is more adulterated than hatred because we talk more about love than hate. So what is love? It was a hot, humid day when we were crossing the border from Cambodia to Vietnam, and and it was our new country, totally new country, new culture, new language, and a guy named Joe was waiting for us in Ho Chi Minh City. So from the border, we had to ride 68 kilometers to reach his house, and this person I've never met in my life, and I just got connected to him through a travel app, and I asked him, hey, can you host us for 2 days in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City? And he said, okay, you can come to my house, and he gave me his address. And when we went there, his family, they welcomed us so much. We were total strangers for them, but the love, the welcome, the love they were giving to us, that you can feel like you don't have to be related by blood to someone to get the love. And we planned to stay there for 2 days, but we ended up staying there for 7 days. And his mother, she always wanted to communicate, but we couldn't speak in Vietnamese, and she don't know how to speak in English. We use sign language. And what I felt through my eyes, I felt that I was part of the family. I was missing somewhere, and then I found that home. And when I look through their eyes, I can feel that, oh, they have found someone in their family who was lost, and now he's back again. So there was a great energy there. And when we were leaving for after 7 days, we planned to leave Ho Chi Minh City, and we're going up north. And she hugged me and she cried, and my eyes were also full of tears. And at that time, I learned something about love. What is love? Love is a spiritual experience. It's nothing to do with sexes, nothing to do with their bodies, but something to do with the innermost being. A Buddha is love. A Jesus is love. The love of Buddha and Jesus is not directed towards one particular thing. It's like a climate. It's flowing in all these directions. So I felt that kind of love at the time. And I went to Vietnam again. I went to Vietnam again in 2018. I went to Joe's house. I lived in his house. I met the family again. And after 3 months, he came to Nepal. I invited him to Nepal. So I found a brother for life. I found a family. I found a mother. And when Joe left Nepal, he left his shoes there, and I said, "Hey Joe, you left your shoes here." He said, "No, I'm keeping my shoes here. I'm gonna come back here. So just keep it safe." And we are still in touch. So this is just one example. I have friends all over the world, and I think that even if there is so much hatred in this world, there is still some love there, and that love is keeping the world alive. So our job is just to water that love. We just need to keep watering that love. You can imagine if there is so much hatred in the world will be destroyed. There is some little love that's keeping the world alive. So we just have to water that. We just have to love. And without love, you cannot dance. Without love, you cannot celebrate. Without love, you cannot pray. And without love, a big temple is just like an ordinary house. And with love, an ordinary house can be transformed into a temple. And without love, we remain just like a possibility, just like empty gestures. And with love, the soul arises for the first time, and we get enlightened. So all we need to do is just love, simply love. Everybody needs love. Any form of love. Your parents need love, your friends need love, your pets need love. You want love from your pets. So it is the greatest art in the existence to spread the love. I would like to request you to look on your side and find a partner and give a hug and say that I love you. I love you. Say that from your heart, and when you say that, say with bliss. Say with bliss. Say you are wonderful. You are amazing.
You don't have to say it like
I love you.
Is that little Ella? Yeah,
it's Ella Rose. Oh, I'm gonna give us a hug.
All right. Hello.
Thank you. I was doing a silent meditation in Burma in 2016. Yeah, I ended up in this temple in Burma, which is 17 miles out of Rangoon. Burma is also known as Myanmar, which is known as the most generous country in the world, which is also one of the poorest countries in the world, but it's known as one of the most generous countries in the world. And I ended up in this temple in Burma, and I came to know about this guy who was a very successful and very rich businessman in Burma, and he sold all his property and he became a monk. And he's a monk since 19 years. And he created this village where 400 families live. And anybody can go and live there, no matter where you come from, no matter what race or religion, or doesn't matter. So I got this opportunity to live in this village for 2 weeks and do my silent meditation for 10 days. And when I was in this village, I felt that there was so much compassion there. We talk a lot about compassion, we talk a lot about empathy, and the art of compassion that I felt over there. I used to wake up early in the morning and go for the alms round. We used to go to different towns and go for alms round, like Lord Buddha used to do. He used to go for alms round and bring food and supplies and give it to the poor people. And we used to wake up early in the morning, go with the monks, walk barefoot, and people used to offer food, whatever they can, cooked food or clothes or anything, and we used to collect everything every day and bring it back to the village and give it to those poor people who are living in this village. And one of the interesting things that I found in this village was, if anybody does 7 days of meditation with the master will give 15 feet piece of land. And in that 15 feet piece of land, you can build a hut and you can live there as long as you want. So there was a hospital, and there was, it was like a village. And as soon as you enter enter the gate, you feel like you are in a home, and there are different kinds of people from different backgrounds. And at that time, I learned what is real compassion. One might be a very emotional person, one might be a very kind, but doesn't mean that that person is compassion. Compassion is action. And I learned that compassion is the purest form of love. Compassion is therapeutic. It is the highest form of energy. And in compassion, you simply give. And the person who receives is grateful towards you, but at the same time, you are also grateful that that person is allowing you to offer. And the greatest anguish in life is when you cannot express, when you cannot communicate, when you cannot share. And the poorest man is one who cannot share, who have nothing to share, or who have something but has lost that capacity to share. And I think compassion simply means an indiscriminate passion. When you like something, you are exclusive with that thing, that you like that. That's passion. And when you have indiscriminate passion, it's not focused towards one particular thing, but it's in all directions. Then that is compassion. And I learned about this when I was in this temple, and I learned so many things there. But I'm sharing some of the highlights that and it opened up my mind so much. I learned something that I spent learning in college or school or medical school. I didn't learn all about this, but this was the real existential things that I learned in this temple. And if I ever get chance, I would definitely go to this temple again. And I believe it is very spiritual to keep our mind open and be compassionate. Compassion doesn't mean that you give everything you have. Compassion means act whenever needed and do whatever you can.